This isn't just a podcast, it's a release. A place to lay it all down. The noise, the weight, the mask, and just exist. Unfiltered, unmasked, unpretending. If you tuned into episode 1 of this Colonic series, we started with the head. The thoughts that pile up. The mental fog, the chaos that clogs our clarity. That episode was a brain colonic. Necessary, messy, and cleansing. But today, we're not talking about thoughts. We're talking hunger. Yeah. The kind that doesn't live in your stomach. The kind that curls up in your chest at night. The kind that whispers, I'm not okay, but I don't know what I need. This episode is for the cravings, the ones that don't go away after a snack or a scroll or a compliment. It's for that emptiness that follows you, even in the middle of a win, even when your life looks good on paper. You ever feel like you're constantly reaching for something, but no matter how much you try to grab it, it's not enough? Yeah, me too. That's what we're talking about today. What are you really hungry for? And what have we been feeding ourselves instead? Because most of us, we've been living off of emotional fast food, quick fixes, easy highs, temporary peace, but our souls are starving. So in this episode, we're going to slow down. We're going to peel back the layers, not to judge ourselves, but to understand what we've been running from and what we actually need. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be fed properly, gently, and truthfully. And that starts here. And if you're new here, welcome in. Everything I use to make this space, the mic, the lights, the gear, it's all linked below. And so is everything we're building. Take what you need. If you need a book, my book, Walk Between Worlds, is freely there and available right there in the bio. My husband's book, The Gift of Being Present, right there in the bio. So let's get into this hunger. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is JBL Monet, the host of the Echoes of the Void podcast, where I help you explore spirituality from all aspects, recognize your potential, and energize your passion to align with your highest self. Segment 1, fast food soul. Hear me out. You ever get that feeling? Like no matter how much you do, it's never enough. You check the notification, you answer the text, you post the reel, you eat the snack, you cross the task off the to-do list, and still there's this tightness. Like something's missing, but you can't name it. Like you're starving, but your fridge is full. That's what I call fast food soul. We're overfed, but undernourished. We chase the high, scroll for that hit, reach the dopamine snack instead of the truth meal. We say things like, I just need a little treat, but most of us haven't really been fed in years, not in the way that matters. And I get it. It's easier to grab what's quick, what's convenient, but stop letting people profit off of convenience. Stop letting people profit off of what you see as convenient. It's easier to grab what's quick. It's easier to binge watch something shallow than to sit in the silence and ask, what do I actually need right now? Because what if the answer is inconvenient? What if it's something you've been avoiding? What if it's rest? What if it's grief? What if it's letting go of the person who feels familiar but doesn't feel safe? What if it's that? Are you okay with exploring the idea that that's what you need right now? We're so used to reaching for comfort that we've confused it with connection. We're so used to coping that we call it living. And that's just not okay with me. Surviving and thriving aren't symptoms. Numbing and nourishing are not the same thing. Truth is, you can be eating 3 meals a day and still be starving for peace. You can be surrounded by people and still be starving for real presence. You can be creating content and still be starving your own voice. And I've personally had to ask myself, what am I really feeding? Is it my soul or is it my image, my ego, or my inner child who never got enough love, so now I chase it in people who don't even like me? I've did that before. Sad to look back on, you know what I'm saying? But also, I wouldn't be the person that I am today if I hadn't gone through those experiences. These are hard, necessary questions, because healing doesn't always look like baths and candles. Sometimes it looks like deleting the app. Sometimes it looks like crying in your car. Sometimes it looks like screaming to the freaking sky. Sometimes it looks like hugging a tree. You know, just doing something out of the freaking norm. Sometimes it looks like skipping brunch, because, you know, being around that group of people drains you. Sometimes healing is just choosing the thing that makes you feel whole, not just good. So this is your check-in, your mirror, your pause. You don't need to shame yourself for the ways you've tried to cope. It's okay. I understand. I understand you. And that's because we're literally connected. All of us are literally connected as human beings. But you don't need to shame yourself for the ways you've tried to cope. You were doing the best you could with what you had, and that's okay. But now you know more. Now you can choose differently. This time, feed yourself what fills you, not what numbs you. Segment 2, craving the unspoken. You ever feel hungry, but not for food? Like there's this ache under your skin, this itch in your spirit, something you cannot name, but it lingers. It follows you with every scroll, every relationship, every room you walk into. You look fine. You've done the work. You're functioning. But under the surface, you're starving. Can we stop starving ourselves? Can we start living our lives for ourselves and not for the world's standards of us? You've done the work, and not for the calories, but for something real, something soft, something safe. We live in a world that teaches us to run from that feeling, distract it, drown it, dress it up with filters and overachievement. Call it ambition. Call it being booked and busy. But really, most of us are just trying not to feel how empty we've become from this capitalistic nonsense. And I get it. We all need some type of income, considering we're literally in a capitalist society right now. However, that doesn't mean that income has to drain you. Find a way to produce something that fills you every single day. We weren't taught how to name our true hunger. We were taught how to perform, to cope, to chase things that look good but feel hollow, to call attention love and exhaustion purpose. But what if your cravings are sacred? What if that longing is a compass, right? What if the ache is not a flow but a message? What are you really craving right now? Are you craving peace, presence, someone who actually sees you, your own voice, unedited and afraid? Write it down. Write down what you need, and write down the steps that you need to do in order to get to what you need. Because here's the truth. You can't starve your soul and expect to feel whole. You can't keep feeding the image and ignoring the real you. You can't keep mistaking noises for nourishment. It's like you can't wonder why you're still feeling empty after every scroll, every like, every almost, every no. So this is the pause. This is your invitation, not to figure it all out, but to listen. Not to me, to yourself. To get still enough to hear what you've been avoiding. To make space for the cravings that can't be satisfied by surface level anythings. You deserve way more than emotional fast food. You deserve something that fills you and holds you, something honest, something whole, and it starts by admitting that you're hungry. Segment 3, feeding the real you. So now that we've named the hunger, what do we do with it? How do you actually feed yourself when you've spent years surviving on substitutes, when the junk has become familiar, when starving feels normal and wholeness feels foreign? First of all, this ain't about going on a self-help binge. It ain't. I'm tired of self-help. This ain't about quitting every coping mechanism overnight. This is about learning how to listen again. Listen to your body, your boundaries, to the part of you that never stopped whispering, this isn't it. Feeding the real you doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's not a glow up. Sometimes it's a slow down. It looks like choosing rest when your ego says hustle. It looks like sitting with discomfort instead of filling it with noise. It looks like unfollowing people who made you feel like you're behind. You're not behind. You're right where you need to be in life. And you wouldn't be here right now in this current moment if it wasn't written in your story. It looks like saying no when you're used to people pleasing your way into exhaustion. Real nourishment is rooted in truth, not trends, not tricks, truth. And sometimes truth says, I don't actually want this job. I'm not okay with pretending anymore. I've been giving to people who don't pour back into me. I've been calling this love, but it's actually survival. Truth shapes things, but it also sets the table. Because when you finally stop feeding the version of you that exists just to be palatable to others, you start feeding the one who came here to live. You didn't come into this body to be in a freaking rat race. You're not a rat. You're a human being. This is the version of you who loves slowly, who feels deeply, who doesn't need to be fixed, just finally fed something real. So ask yourself, what feels nourishing to me? Not what impresses me, not what's trendy, but what grounds me, what softens me, what makes me feel safe in my own breath. And start there. Write that down. Keep it in front of you. Write it on your mirror. Write it on a sticky note right next to your bed. With these little shifts, your soul begins to get snacks, healthy snacks, nourishing snacks. The boundaries may feel like rebellion at first, but they're really just restoration. And I always encourage you, just give yourself grace. And I want to also say, I'm not freaking perfect. I'm not perfect. And I'm also not coming on this podcast from a place of ego. I'm coming in order for you to have a conversation with you and open yourself up to the best version of you. Learning to feed the real you means grieving the parts of you that were starving for so long. It means realizing how much of your life was built around staying empty just to be accepted, But you're not here to perform wholeness. You're here to feel it. You're not here to perform as if you're whole. You're here to feel your wholeness, to live in it, to taste it slowly, fully, and unapologetically. This world will try to convince you that hunger is a flaw, that your depth is a burden, that your softness is weakness. But I promise you, your hunger is holy. Your truth is medicine. And the moment you start feeding yourself what's real, everything fake starts to fall away, including people. And that is freedom. Segment 4, invitation to integration. Now that we've named the hunger, felt the ache, and glimpsed at what real nourishment might look like, what's next? This is the moment where healing isn't a finish line. It's a daily conversation with yourself, a practice, a permission slip. Permission is a slow down, to say no without guilt, to choose your own peace over approval, permission to stumble, to fall back into old patterns and still come back again and again and again. Because truth is growth. Growth isn't linear. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to stay curious about your own hunger. Just keep on asking yourself, what do I need right now? And then follow up that question with, what feels like truth? Because feeding the real you isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about showing up for yourself in small moments. The morning you choose to breathe instead of hustle, the text you don't send, the boundary you set when it's scary. Every step like this is a little colonic for the soul. Clearing out of what no longer serves you, ridding of the waste, and welcoming what restores. So wherever you are, however hungry or full you feel, know this: you're not broken, you're awakening. And that's okay. And every time you choose to feed your true self, you step closer to freedom. Thank y'all for being here with me in this space. And if this episode landed for you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you want to dive deeper, check out the links below for books, resources, and ways to connect. So I just encourage you to just keep feeding your soul what it really needs. All right, y'all, it's time for a song. Me and Hope Hart are working on a song here that's going to be called Keep Going. Gotta keep going, grounding in ways we didn't dream of, making the space to embrace what we can't trust, taking our ride, taking our lives, hands of the God we decide, be alive, you're the right, now keep going, how we keep going. You're the ocean, we're the potion, so we be flowing. Gotta keep going. Yes, that's gonna be released soon, so make sure that y'all are checking it out. Here's the conclusion. Thank you for sitting with me today, for listening to the hunger, for giving yourself permission to feel it fully, honestly, and without shame. Remember, this journey is yours. It's messy, it's beautiful, it's real, and it's unfolding one breath at a time. If you're craving more or want to explore this work deeper, all the books, tools, and community links are linked down below in the description. Make sure y'all go check out my book, Walk Between Worlds. Embrace the void, awaken your truth. The only way for you to become the person that you've always wanted to be is by stepping into the unknown. You can find the gear that I use in order to make these conversations feel so intimate and warm too. That'll be linked down below. I'm newly a Amazon affiliate, so yay. And if this episode touched you, share it with someone who might need a little soul colonic of their own, right? Because sometimes the best healing comes when we're not alone. So I'll see you in the next episode of Echoes of the Void. And until then, be gentle with yourself, feed your truth, and keep coming home. Not the home called this podcast, but the home within you. Until next time, embrace the void.